Well, hi again, everybody. My name is Greg Anderson, and this is the Good Timekeeping Show with Greg Anderson, and with this Casio MDV106 watch that's blue. I did a little something to it, so let's have a look. All right, friends, here's the fun. I'm going to take this watch here, and I'm going to swap out this strap here for a metal bracelet, genuine Casio product. So we'll see how this works, trying to get my camera angle to be sufficient. But also be able to work here on this. So it's nice to have an official spring bar tool. Now, some people, if they don't have something like this, you might get away with one of these tiny jeweler's screwdrivers, and that's not too bad. But a spring bar tool with that little V-shaped notch in it is going to give you some pretty good results, because it's made just for this purpose. It just kind of, and I like how there's plenty of room here to get the spring bar in there. So let me just see if I can do this on camera not too awkwardly. If I just kind of pry this down a little bit and then angle this towards me while I'm pushing down on the spring, on this spring bar. There. Okay, you didn't see the moment when that happened. But basically, you know, these spring bars, it's a pretty simple mechanism, really. All it does is has a little spring action there. And this can be compressed in like that on either side. So, you know, as that compresses in there, the spring action pushes back out and goes into these small holes on either side and holds it in place. So all you're trying to do is, and it's just kind of tricky to do with just two hands, is compress this while you're aligning it with the holes in there to get this thing to go back together. In this case, I'm not going to put it back together just as is. I'm going to pull this other one out, and I'm going to get my my new watch bracelet in there instead of this resin one. So trying to satisfy the camera so you can see what I'm doing, but also be able to work this in a way where I can do what I'm doing. And see, that was enough to compress that out. Oh, there you go. That's a pretty good shot of how that works. Now, there's my watch with no watch band. And let's do something about that. Now, this new watch band came with these two end pieces and two new spring bars. And then, of course, you got the watch band itself, genuine Casio there. And so this is a little bit adaptable. The end there can fit into two different kinds of, lugs, if you will, over here on here. But for this particular one, I want to use these end pieces and set it up kind of, you know, in this configuration. So it's a little bit tricky to do with just two hands, and also to be able to show you it nicely here on camera, but I'll try. And one thing I want to do is make sure that I got it on the right way. So if that says Casio right there, that's right side up, and the watch is right side up, then this is the proper way to attach it so that the clasp opens up in the way that's expected, as you would with just your regular watches that maybe came with a metal bracelet. All right, so let's see how well I can do this on camera and not make it too awfully awkward. First, I'm going to turn this upside down like this, and I'm going to set the spring bar in to kind of hold this end piece in place. So that's going to go through there and right out the other side. Now, how am I going to get this to attach to there? And this where it could be kind of tricky with this. So I think what it does is, see how those little tabs on the end kind of fit over there? I think what I'm going to have to do is kind of try to shimmy those into place, and at the same time compress the spring bar itself. Let's see if I can do this, and again, still preserve a camera angle so you can actually see some of this process. So let me kind of push that in as I go. See, it started to line up. I think this side has lined up, but the other one's not quite there. So let me just kind of work this a little bit. Yeah, I'll see how close that is. Okay, let's work the spring bar tool and get that to kind of pop into place. Ah, okay. Oh, look, I did it. Okay, give it a good tug there and make sure it is holding. Okay, and as you see there, it seems to have lined up pretty well with the watch case. Okay, now the only trick is to do that on the other side. So I'm going to fold this around like this. And for this, I think maybe the way that's going to make it easier to keep working on this, I'm going to unclasp this and I'm going to release it right here. So I'm going to take the sharper end of this spring bar tool, and that's a little spring bar down in there. So I'm going to release that there. And now I can kind of lay the whole thing flat out and go through that same process on this other side. Okay, looks like I got that in. So now I just bring those two sides together and I can reattach this clasp here using this little spring bar that I just popped out. Okay, I had to do that off camera because just the angle was kind of awkward. But okay, so now I've got that there. Now here comes the big moment. And I know, since I haven't removed any links from this, that this is going to be too large on me. So let's try, and we'll confirm that. Yeah, that's just a little too loose. So I think I'm going to have to take out at least one link. Let's go through that process. Removing the link on a watch band like this can be very tricky, and basically what you need to do is there's kind of a little oblong hole there next to an arrow pointing outward. So what you need to do is take something that's strong and small enough, and you put it in that indentation there, and you have to pry that upward enough that you can pop out this thing that's called a T-bar that's actually holding the links together. So here's what it looks like if I were able to pop that upward. Then you've got the T-bars here, and then they just kind of pull this way. And on this particular watch band, it was very, very tight in there. So if this comes all the way out, then you can start to undo the links, this way. And so in order to take out one link, you have to actually loosen up the T-bar on two links. And there you go. So you can remove the one and then put the others back together. I struggled with it a lot on this off camera. And so I decided that there's got to be something better than what I'm doing, using, just kind of the pointed end of a paper clip or a very small jeweler's screwdriver or whatever. Just it was in there, so I had to put so much pressure on. I was bending things that I was trying to use to pry that up. So, and I didn't want to scratch up the bracelet itself by working on that too hard, or having something pushed in here and then have that slip out, and start scratching things up. Not to mention poke myself, if I've got my fingers around this thing. So I realized there is probably a tool that's better, maybe purpose-built for this job, and I found one. I ordered it, and here in a few days, I'll make a new video that just focuses on how to use the proper tool to do the job of taking out a T-bar and, removing or replacing links on a watch bracelet like this. But, essentially, once I got that done, the good news is it worked out great. And the even better news is I was able to get it to fit onto my wrist with those two links out. Now it just works like I normally would expect a watch to work. And I do wear my watch on my right hand, my right wrist most of the time. And that's how it fits there. And here it is, a pretty good looking watch as is. This is the style of bracelet they used to sell more often with these Duro watches. Maybe not this exact color, but the ones that did come with a metal bracelet. That's the style that they offered, and still looks pretty good today. So that's it. Here's a nice little look at how that all looks all together. And all right. Well, I've got some more videos to make, so I thank you for watching this one and hope you will join me soon for another episode of The Good Timekeeping Show.